I said that to my friends, and they give me this feedback, like, it's very convenient to play drinking game while you've been talking. And I was confused because I didn't understand the concept of this game. And they told me that, you were repeating this one word so many times that after every time you say it, we could, take a drink. And of course, I was upset. I'm like, that meant that I have to rewrite the speech. But since I'm lazy and creative, I decided to use it. I decided to use it, and I propose you to all of you to play this drinking game with me while I've been doing my report, right? But I slightly changed the rules, so please do not go to the kitchen and do not look for the beer. No, don't do that. No. Uh, Um, I don't like. I see Arnika just did. um, the the rule is to track which word I will use often during my speech, and the first person who writes down the in YouTube in the comments the word which I used many times, yeah, the first person will get $30 from me. So yeah, yeah, I hope all of you will enjoy this speech, and I hope all of you are on board with me on that. So let's start. We live in dynamic world, and based on current situation in Ukraine, we perfectly see that the world changing fast and very radically sometimes, and that in affects on people, on the performance, on the interaction between each other, and of course the motivation. And in 2021, in November 2021, I felt burned out for the first time at my job. And my team members told me the same, that they felt the same in the same way. They felt burned out. And that was actually interesting state. I worked really slowly, and I didn't want to actually do some things, you know, with the right quality, with that quality which I did it before. We in our company we have like local joke that, hey, this is not you, this is problem Mercury in retrograde. So wait, and that's just Mercury in retrograde. But unfortunately, in November 2021, Mercury was out of retrograde, so everything was just my fault, And I was looking for. I was as a Scrum Master of my team. I was trying to find a way how to motivate, how to get back motivation for me and for my team. So I started with the very beginning. I started with just went to Google and looked for the word motivation. What does it mean? And how many types of that motivation do we have? And turns out we have just two types: intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. Easy, internal, external. And I think, like, consciously you understand what does it mean, right? So external motivation, it's about something which came, or extrinsic motivation, it's something which came outside, which motivate you and came from outside, right? So this can be pay raise, bonuses, punishment as well, right? And intrinsic motivation, or internal, it's something which goes inside of you, so you just want to do that. You feel that you have a purpose, you have a passion. And many studies state that for easy, in order to if you want to motivate some person to do some simple task, you have to use some extrinsic motivation, right? Some, just say, I will pay you more, right? And if you want person to make if you want motivate person to do some complex and creative task, you have to use some intrinsic motivation or internal motivation. You have to activate some internal motivation in that person. Well, in IT sphere, until 2020, we have one really big internal motivator for all of us, and that was remote ability to work remotely, because like that was really amazing opportunity when you were looking for a new job, like, hey, I can work remotely, sure. But after 2020, that was not that big, motivator for anyone. So in November 2021, I was looking for some ultimate approach that will help me to motivate people, not people, me actually, and my team. Some magical pill, I call it, like um, something that will bring back, desire to work, to make a better product, to be more productive, to enhance our current processes. And I found it. That was gamification. Yeah. Gamification in a workplace is nothing but turning work into games so that it became more fun to work. Actually, today gamification in management became very trendy. Everyone uses it. Everyone, really. And according to the survey done by Talent LMS, 89% of employees state that gamification makes them feel more productive and happy at work. But we have one but, of course. But you cannot just, add some common gamification tools such as badges, leaderboards, points. No, if you do it, sometimes it doesn't work. So you have to add some. If you wanted to add some game element to your process, you have to analyze your process, analyze people, and analyze and do it, properly. And in order to do that properly, we have actually one really convenient framework which calls Octalysis. Octalysis framework is a human-focused gamification design framework that lays out the 8 core drives for human motivation, developed by Yu Kancho. This is very famous gamificator. He believes that core drives are key to bring fun and engagement into almost every task, into almost every um, process. So he actually developed this octagon, right, with 8 human core drives for motivation. This is meaning, creativity, accomplishment, ownership, social influence, scarcity, unpredictability, and avoidance. So let me briefly introduce all of them. So, epic meaning. Epic meaning is the need or the urge to be part of something much bigger than just yourself. And when you're adding this meaning to your game element, that means and that will make people feel that the action have purpose. That will mean that you activated this drive. So I will explain everything. Probably this is very confusing, but I will explain everything in the example. Let's go next. Creativity. Creativity is when a team member is engaged in a creative process where he or she have repeatedly figured things out and tried different combination. So when you add to your game elements something that will turn on the desire to choose my own direction, that will give people more energy because you activated this drive creativity. Moving on, social influence. This drive incorporates all the social elements that drive people, including mentorship, acceptance, social responses, companionship. So if you want to activate one of these drive, you have to, you know, include uh, interaction between people, such as probably they have can learn from each other, or they can teach something once each other. So yeah, next, unpredictability and curiosity. This is very generally, this is a harmless drive of wanting to find out what will happen next. And if you don't know what's going to happen, your brain is engaged and you think about it way often. So that's actually why we are so eager, to finish the book which we are reading, or finish the movie which we are watching. So yeah. And next one, avoidance. Avoidance. This drives about avoiding pain or some negative consequences. So if in your game element you will stress that people that nothing negative will happen, so people will just be more engaged because they will feel safe. Scarcity, this is about usually this drive we this human drive, usually using who, people in marketing, who are doing some marketing strategy, like, hey, this is one time event, this is one time sale. So scarcity, this drive force people to want have it, or because this is limited. And if in your game element you will say that this is something which you're doing or they are doing is limited, they will want to have it, participate, and stuff like that. So ownership, this is this drive. If in your game element you will add something that people will own, like virtual currency, or some points. If you will add that to your game element, people will be much more likely, they would like to participate, uh, contribute. So yeah. And the last one, accomplishment. This is drive, not for every people. Actually, some people want to, if they started, they want to finish it. So if you adding the game element into for people $30, and that money will go to Ukrainian army or Ukrainian military, I could say that, but I decided that this is that will be inappropriate for my audience, right? That's why I haven't done it, and that's why it doesn't need to activate this drive in my game element. Oh, sorry. So let's go next. Development and accomplishment. I added 1 point. Why? Because the person who first will do that, they will get this accomplishment. They will be the first who define the word. The third one, it's creativity, 0. Because I haven't say like, hey, no one is creative here. Something, no. You have to just be focused. Like, okay, which word I'm using. Yeah, that's it. The next drive, this ownership, I added 2 points over here. And because the person at the end of it's at the end of the game, okay, I will call it, the person will get knowledge and money. Social influence, 0 points, because I haven't added, interaction between viewers. If I would add that, probably I would add some points here. Scarcity, I added 1 point because this is one-time webinar. Curiosity, I also added 1 point because you don't know how many times will I say the word. That's why, oh, 1 point I added. And loss and avoidance, over here I didn't add any points because I haven't stressed that, hey guys, nothing negative will happen. No, I haven't stressed that. If only you do that in your game element, then that will that then we will count, will add 1 point. So as you can see, this is my octagon for my game element. And if I would like to activate all 8 drives in my game element, I would add something more and more and more and more. And after implementation, I would also analyze how was it, right? Was it too much, or was it like not enough, sometimes. So on this example, I wanted to show you that you can always analyze and enhance your game element, which you want to add to your work process. And of course, I would love to share some game elements that you can use in order to motivate your team and make work process more enjoyable. I on this slide you can see 6 game elements. I will go through them briefly, and I would like to say next that I will not use any of companies as an example, because that will be advertisements, the advertisement of their processes. That's why I will just use common words. So what you can use, what game element you can use. So this is creating special software. Yeah, if you have enough money, you can, and you have demotivated team, uh, big, small, whatever, you can create special software. um, Big companies such as Amazon, Microsoft, they do that. And let's say if your team don't like how to track time, and they're not demotivated with this routine, you can gamify this process. The next, using quests. Yeah, actually, usually quests and creating special software is always going, uh, together. Why? Because in your special software, you actually creating the scenario, how the person will go, what the person will do. But usually, sometimes in other in work process, you also can use quests, some quest task. Why? Because quest helps not only to identify the leader in the team, but also to unite team. um, as another game element is which you can use, is to gamify daily meetings. I can share my experiment with that. In our team, we actually done this on daily Scrum. People were really kind of team members were really kind of demotivated to give rappers, so we added a little bit interactive there. And before the person will give a speech, not a speech, a report of what he was doing and what he will be doing, he or she, sorry, that person should, answer on some question, or answer on some case. Example, what will you do if you won $1 million? And the person will start like, hey, I would buy a dog. That was really weird. We were like, we all of us were confused, like, why would you buy a dog? Because And then the person explained, because I have an allergy on dogs, and probably I would, cure myself and then bought a dog. So that was interesting, and so that helps, to help people interact between each other, know and to know uh, each other, better. Um, and next game element, this is prize draw. That's this game element successfully was used in one Ukrainian IT startup, which were using Scrum methodology. So people were not involved in the Scrum process, and the Scrum Master did next. So he proposed on the every retrospective do this prize draw. How was it look? So on the every retrospective, whenever everyone who participated it, those people were the list of those people put in one column of randomizer, online randomizer, and another column was a list of prizes, which also was randomized. So, and when Scrum at the very end of retrospective, when Scrum Master pressed like randomly choose 1 point from the first column with a list of people, and randomly choose 1 point from the list of prizes, they get automatically they get name of the person and his prize, and the prize was like cup of coffee, lunch, day off, and all of them were like praying to have day off or something like that, or vacation or extra vacation stuff or something like that. And that's actually changed the vibe in the team. Somehow they changed the vibe, and also I heard that they were saying proposing to add to that prize list iPhone, but unfortunately, CEO was reject that. Next, this is competition. I think all of you knows about this game element or concept of this game element, right? If your team doesn't, if you have actually very competitive team members, that's really will be amazing game element for them. Or if you have competitive teams between teams, you can actually propose them compete between each other. And the last game element about which I want to talk, it's challenge. I think all of you have done challenges and you also known about this concept, but I would love to share some experience from one Ukrainian IT company, from one team, from one Ukrainian IT company. So what they did, they all of them were working remotely, and uh, they were really demotivated. That was during the COVID time, 2020, I guess. And in order to and then the manager find out that the main demotivator, let's say that, was that all of team members had experienced the lack of activity, and they wanted to, at least walk more. And they made a challenge during for the next 2 months. They have been they were not allowed to start work before they will share the screen from some sport app that they walked 5,000 steps already. And actually that's united, that was amazing, but that's united the team, and they were like talking about, then they started to do sports more and more together, even when they were working remotely, right? So they still were like kind of united in that case. So that's actually it. And I would love to say that in conclusion, I want to add that gamification, this is a cool instrument. And with the right study and preparation, it works great. But very important, you have to remember that you just cannot use some game element all the time. You have to, switch from time to time, because people get bored. So what can I say? Thank you, guys. You were awesome. Thank you. And what will be next? I will pass the word to Arnika, our next speaker, and we'll go to YouTube and we'll find, and I will wait for someone who will write the word which I've been using many times, and that person who will be the first will get $30 from me. Thank you. Thank you. Arnika?
As it was already mentioned a few times, my name is Arnika. I'm from Poland, and but as we all work remotely and do a lot of stuff online, right? So it's not a problem to join you today. This still day; it's not evening yet. So what I'm gonna talk about today, what I will present to you, is the idea how to become a not bad tester. So how to be better in what you are doing, how to improve maybe your doings, because there were some misunderstandings, some misconceptions about testers' work. It's not that obvious anymore. So based on some examples, allegories, I will show you some, like, it may seem basic but very important stuff in our meaning testers goals. But starting with like me in general, who am I, what I'm doing here. So mostly I'm a tester, right? I started already 15 years ago, so it was some time ago. By the accident, I was studying at the Technic University in Wrocław, the computer science, of course, but back then I knew I will not be coding and not be programming, but because that is just boring, at least for me. So I found this job as a tester, and I fell in love, and I still do. I still love testing. Additionally, I love quality and everything I do, so I call myself quality lover and quality advocate for other people, also to help them understand quality and help them understand tester work in quality. I also do workshops, training, so I'm a coach, I'm a lecturer at 2 universities. I also sail and I climb. I live in the mountains and I have a sailing boat. Together with my with second part of my team, so Hryszki team, so my husband here, we travel a lot, gaining experience also, traveling also by giving speeches at different conferences. So that's about me, so you know who I am and what I'm doing here. So going back to a tester, right? What exactly testers do? So yeah, many people think is just like that in the picture. When I was starting this 15 years ago, and I was saying, "Oh, mom, I work as a software tester," and she was, "Oh, so you're just clicking through the application, right? That's your job." And I had an issue explaining what I'm doing back then, because it wasn't that known back there. Now it's much easier, but still many people think I will just take application, click through it, and that's all, right? I doesn't have to know anything, and I will just check, see the bugs, and that's everything. So why this misconception, right? Why people think like that? For many reasons. Some of them are for sure, the advertisement about the boot camps and courses that in a week you will be a tester, right? doesn't have to be technical. You just need to read the specification and test according to it. Like make big money tomorrow because testers earn a lot and it's just easy job, easy money. Anyone can be a tester. Or like this easiest path to IT. Actually, I was training people this past weekend, and I always ask, because there are those were people that wanted to change their job, right? And they were on this testing bootcamp. And my first question to everyone, besides their name and occupation, of course, it's why they want to be a tester. Why this path, not the other? And what I'm hearing most often, yeah, easiest way to IT, right? Because what can be easier than the testing? So yeah, we can find a lot of those sentences like that over the internet, and not only telling people that testing is simple, everyone can do it, and it's easiest way to get into IT and make a great money. It's true in some part, but it may, only in some part. If there was a time when a lot of testers were missing, like, so then for sure they were hiring everyone, but right now get a job as a junior tester is not that easy, because a lot of people followed that path, became a tester, and unfortunately some of them didn't have a like mentor or senior tester that will help them, so they test as they think the testing should be done, and they have this totally wrong approaches to testing. So I would like to present a few of them and explain why they are wrong approaches. And yeah, also to know that people think that knowledge for a tester is only this small part, right? But actually testers need to know a lot more. So the first wrong approach is following the script, following the let's say specification, right? So okay, I have a test cases that were written by someone else some time ago, so I'll just go step by step and do exactly what's written there, right? What can be easier? But imagine a detective doing exactly the same stuff, right? Okay, there is a crime scene. I have this list. Yeah, I have some checkpoints here. Okay, there is a body. There is a body. There is a blood. Yes, there is a blood. Is there something else? No, there is no something else. And then yeah, the case solved, right? Easy. So that's exactly right. I think following such script as a detective won't be I will not be becoming the best detective working like that, because the crime scenes, the situations are different, and the same with the software, right? It's not like software is something that it's not changing at all, that it's always the same. Something may be, but it's a lot is changing. There is different configurations, different data, test data that you are using, right? Different roles that you are using when testing, different kinds of authentication, different browsers or systems even, right? So following such generic script will not give us a lot of answers. Yes, the we will know only that if those given steps are working in this given situation. But being a good tester means exploration, means thinking about the configuration, about the situation I'm in, about all the combinations I can use, combinations about configurations, about test data, about everything, right? Going, I know it's cliche, but thinking outside of the box, so thinking outside of the script, thinking what else I can do, also reacting on what happened, like the detective. Okay, if I found something like I don't know, a hair, right, or I will find a knife on this crime scene, I will investigate that. I will I don't know if you watched The Cop from Beverly Hills with Eddie Murphy. There was this scene when he found shoes covered with red dirt and then was searching where the red dirt can be. I'm sure something like that will be not on the script, right? So when I will find something interesting when testing, explore it, go deeper. You know, the DiCaprio meme right now, so we have to go deeper. What else? What's more we can do wrong when testing, and what we shouldn't do? Like treating requirements as a final oracle, right? We have requirements, everything is written there, we do not question it, we just take it as a like an oracle, right? So yeah, imagine, well, you know the current situation, a geopolitical one, but not only. And the only thing you are watching is Russia Today, for example. And will you know everything? Will you have the full picture of what's going on? I assume not, right? So requirements, yeah, this is test basis, right? By the definition, it is something that should be your base for testing, your at some point oracle, but try to question it. Try to ask questions, right? Try to find if everything is okay. Do the so-called static testing, so review of the requirements. Maybe something is missing. Maybe something is wrong there. Maybe from your experience, you know it shouldn't look like that, right? It should be different. It's uh, so okay, right? So let's use our brain, let's use our experience, let's use other sources. We have mockups, we have proof of concepts, we have other people, we have existing application, for example. So all of this should be your oracle, all this test basis, not only the requirements. Okay. The next wrong approach is a lack of peer reviews. Usually, even if we would like to have like review our test cases, test scripts, whatever, it's like, why will you will be reviewing that? You should know your work. It's okay. But let's imagine that you wrote a book. It's a great science fiction book or whatever, right? But you wrote it and you even didn't read that. Didn't no one else read it before printing. There was no proofreading. There was no editing, right? We just put the book after writing it for publishing. Do you think everything will be correct inside it? Because I don't think so, right? For sure, there will be some typos, there will be something missing, some lack in the continuation or anything like that, right? And the same with your test scripts, with your test cases. Someone should review it, right? Someone should see if everything is okay, but it's not only about correcting someone, about um, like pointing their mistakes, right? It's also about learning and also seeing the another person's perspective, because I may wrote the best test case with all the possibilities, but maybe there is something more, right? Maybe um, someone else has different perspective. Maybe some other person was using this or similar application. It may help, right, to see this other point of view, to review if everything is okay with whatever you produce. Is it test plan? Is it some kind of mind map with test cases, only test cases, test review, test scripts, whatever. It needs to be reviewed. I know that some questions are popping up. I will answer them at the end of my presentation. So few more wrong approaches, just bear with me. So the next one is something that was actually forced a bit. This is working in silos. For sure, you know this approach that, okay, we have developers, we are technical ones, we do not care about tests, we do not care about business domain or anything. We are working as developers, right? And then we have testers, we are the quality keepers. We are working in our silo and minding only our own business. So that's not correct. Because together with the developers, with the product owners, system analysts, business analysts, architects, managers, we all have the common goal, right? We want to build one software together and the software with great quality. So the same like building a house, yeah? You're building a house and one professional is doing the brickwork, another one is doing windows, another one is doing the rooftop, and they didn't contact each other. They didn't mind what others are doing because I'm a brick master, right? Or I'm a roof master. I will not be seeing what others are doing. So what happens there, right? Okay, so brickwork was done by professional who put like the arc windows, the like holes for the arc windows because that's his vision. But then the guy who was doing the windows put like rectangular windows because they are the best. They are the tomorrow's trend, right? So the house will not be fitting to each other. Like these elements won't fit together. The same with the software. If developers will focus only on the code, not the functionalities, not the system as a whole. If testers will be testing only in their silo, like not being interested what others are doing, what others are putting into this software, right? Even maybe not going to the meetings because it's a planning meeting, or maybe it's like a meeting about the planet architecture and planet database. I'm not interested in it. Will it help in my work? For sure it will not, right? So yeah, we shouldn't lock ourselves in the silos in only our area. We should work together as a team. And how to work together as a team, Tetiana just described before my presentation. So the next thing is actually a bit connected to the previous one. So like relying on assumptions instead of facts. Because requirements are not always covering everything, because I'm experienced tester and I know how it should work, I'm using my assumptions, right? So, for example, if I teach students about the decision tables and how to find missing requirements using it. The example is that there are 3 requirements to pass the exam as a student. You have to be on over 50% of the lectures. That's one thing. The second thing is you have to also have the grade from the last exam should be over 4, let's say, and the average grade from other like things that were projects during the semester is also over 4, the grade 4. And the requirements say if you comply with all those 3 requirements, you passed. If you complete only 2 of those requirements, you passed, but you need to take another assignment. if you comply with only one requirement, then you didn't pass. What is not set in this requirement, what happens if you didn't comply with any of the requirements, right? My assumption is, okay, I didn't have the proper grade, I haven't been to all the lectures, so I didn't pass, right? But it's my assumption, it's not in the requirements. So maybe we should ask, because I know such developers that in such cases, they would put something fun in the system. If it wasn't stated directly in the requirements, in the specification, they would put, for example, haha, you passed, right? If I didn't comply with any of the requirements. So yeah, we should, if something is missing in the requirements, if we are not sure about it, something, some people are saying one thing and some people something, some other, let's discuss it, let's talk about it, right? The allegory I used here is like almost every romantic comedy. I'm sure you know this scheme, right? There are two people, they like each other, and then something probably happened, and just if they would talk to each other, everything will be great, right? Just talk and discuss and explain everything. But no, why we need to discuss, right? We are going separate ways, we are heartbroken, eating ice creams, watching sad movies, and all that stuff, right? So yeah, it's not that approach. In almost every romantic comedy, the answer would be just talk to each other, right? And the same with something is not sure, something is not clear, if it comes to requirements, ways of working, or anything. We work as a team, so let's just discuss, this is why we have these daily meetings, right? We have plannings and everything to overcome the obstacles, right? To have the together, to have the same picture of what we are doing. So the next one, also like connected to the fourth one, like keeping in the silo, but ignoring the fact that we need to know the domain, to have the business knowledge, right? It's not that we can go, for example, work with the finance, with banking, and do not know how this domain works at all, right? I'm not saying I have to be an expert or accountant to prepare such thing, but I have to know at least something, right? At least some business knowledge, some expressions, jargon that is used by this specific area, right? This specific people, to understand what they are meaning. There is a lot of examples that people didn't understand each other just because they were talking in different languages. One here, it's exactly what happened to me when preparing a conference. We had a partner that wanted to do a campaign for us, but they didn't do like IT campaign so far. We wanted to explain them how our environment work, because IT is specific. We are using very specific jargon sometimes and jokes and stuff. So we wanted to explain. They said, no, we are experts at the marketing campaigns. We don't need what you are saying, right? And the things that were they prepared were just awful, just nothing that can be understood by IT people. Or it can be, but it will be like, what? Right? So something that we will be actually like embarrassed if it will be released. So we didn't go with this campaign. So it's important to have business knowledge, right? To know what is the area, what is the jargon, what this is all about, right? What are the goals of our client, what are their needs, right? To know where we are heading, what's there, what do we exactly need to fulfill the needs of the client, the customer, right? Our users also. So what the tester should be like, right? And here I can try to answer the one question that popped out. So what makes someone a great QA manager? Actually, I could prepare like separate presentation on that. It's like on the picture, it's many things. You cannot just say that the manager is focus oriented, of course, and good team player, and like knows ITIL, for example, right? And have, of course, ISTQB test manager certificate. It's not like that. It's many different things, starting with the things I just discussed. For sure, the great QA manager has to be good tester. And to be a good tester, you have to know the basics. You have to know the ways of working, the technical part of what's going on, what's there, what are the techniques, what are the tools, of course, but also have this mindset that I do not know everything, right? I should work with a team. I should ask others about their opinions. So I should go out again, cliche, outside of the box and try. I should learn. And both testers and test managers should learn and learn and learn. It's never-ending process in IT. This is why we have webinars like that, right? We have conferences. We have other stuff that we can attend, like mentors. Like I think good QA manager is a mentor in some way, someone who has enough knowledge to help their team, to support, at least to know where to find help, not maybe like have all the answers, but at least know where to find answers, guide people, and explain the situation to them, and also be advocate, because although we should not work in the silos, there will be situation that like someone is against QAs, let's say, right? Or there is a lot of demand from the testers. So QA manager should be proxy, should be advocate of his team, because team should do the work, right? The test manager, QA manager is the one that should like shield them, let them do their work and help them with the work. At least that's from my perspective. I have also a question. Are you agree that machine learning and artificial intelligence are the future of software testing and quality assurance? Totally agree. Myself, I work on that usually. One thing, when saying machine learning and artificial intelligence, I say it's like shoes and shoe shop, because machine learning is part of artificial intelligence. Actually, I use machine learning in my work. I use it for defect prediction, to know where they might be problems, right? To find, for sure, you know this Pareto law, that 20% of the code of the system will cause 80% of the issues, of the bugs. And actually, using defect prediction, using machine learning, can help us to find this 20%. If you are interested in this topic, you can search for my husband presentation on that topic. So if you just put my last name, so Hryszko, and machine learning or AI, there is presentation in English from, I think, my husband, because he is doing actual PhD on that. So using machine learning in testing, right? So I think, yeah, it will not like replace testers for sure, because what is artificial intelligence? It's only algorithm, right? Intelligent, let's say, very useful. They can do things faster than us, but still, they are just mathematical algorithms. So they will not replace us for sure, but they will help us a lot. Still, as a testers, we need to focus on quality. We need to there is this whole area called cognitive testing or cognitive software, right? So focus on the let's say human part, on the UX, on the working with testers, with testing with the software. But for sure, machine learning is something that will help us a lot as a tester to focus on less tedious parts of the testing, let's say. Okay, I don't see more questions right now. Oh, I didn't change the last slide, but I think Duże dziękuję. I think that's Ukrainian. And you can, I see another question. I will come to it. Just to tell you that you can find me on LinkedIn. As I said, I'm a coach, I'm a mentor, I'm a lecturer at the universities. For 15 years, I gained some knowledge. If it comes to testing, I'm always happy to help. If you need something, you have more questions later, or something will pop up in your mind, or you just watching this webinar from the recording, not in real time, just contact me anytime. I will answer. And the question for now, what would you suggest or where to start with automation? That's actually a huge question. Is it possible to learn on my own and implement proper automation, or do I need external help mentor trainings? So, if it comes to starting at all, for sure the easiest way is to start with actually the programming language. What I suggest is Python. It's my favorite language, and it's capable of everything. I'm using Python also for machine learning, right? It's great for automation. Many tool supports Python. So I would suggest starting with just learning Python as a language. You can do it by yourself. There is a lot of like courses or videos on YouTube and a lot of material on the internet how to automate with Python. So you can for sure start with that. But to actually be good at it, not just to follow what's in the trainings, I would suggest finding some mentor, someone who is a senior, and for sure, if you start, because do not start looking for a mentor when you didn't do anything, right? Start with Python, start with writing your own tests, even small ones. There is a lot of, as I said, a lot of material over the internet, and then you can just write on the LinkedIn, for example, that you started. You have some things, and you would like to have some mentor, some guideline in further development. I assure you, there will be at least few people that are going to help you, that are going to like guide you how to progress, how to go further with this test automation. Um, and yeah, and also if you are automating anything, writing test cases, writing test scripts, put it on GitHub, put it in the open repository so people can have a look, right? Start with end-to-end or API testing. I was end-to-end, like from the graphical point of view, you can start with Selenium, so the easiest record and repeat, right? But also API. API is actually, it's not that difficult, right, to learn. There is also a lot of like open APIs you can practice on. Again, if the person who is asking these questions will contact me on LinkedIn, I can guide you and show you some trainings that were verified by my mentees that were learning test automation. So yeah, just pop me a message on LinkedIn. I will gladly share some trainings that you can take. Anything more, Alina? Because Alina is putting your questions for me. But I think that there's no question for now. So again, go and be a good tester, right? Remember about the basics. Remember that testing is not just being a monkey and clicking to application. Is much more. So please go and be a good tester. If you need help with that, contact me or anyone, any experienced tester. I'm sure will help you with your growth, with your progressing in your career as a tester. And I would like to thank you for being here or just watching it later, and for Alina who invited me here and to be able to speak with that. And I hope see all of you maybe at some conference or meetup in the future. Дуже дякую.